So read, stuck on the block, read, sitting in the box, read.
Squanning people, this week's great read is an absolute classic, one of the most important and influential books from modern script writers, novel writers, film, TV, exploring what we call the monomyth cycle. Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces is this week's great read. Incredible book. How's it described? Let me see. Since its release in 1949, The Hero with 1,000 Faces has influenced millions of readers by combining the insights of modern psychology with Joseph Campbell's revolutionary understanding of comparative mythology. In these pages, Campbell outlines the hero's journey, a universal motif of adventure and transformation that runs through virtually all of the world's mythic traditions. He also explores the cosmogonic cycle, the mythic pattern of world creation and destruction. And that sounds large, but he does exactly that. It really looks, cultures from all around the world, from Japan, from Africa, it was written in 1949, so some of the language is a little bit colonial. I remember the opening. So, for example, in the opening it says, "Whether we listen with aloof amusement to the dreamlike mumbo jumbo of some red-eyed witch doctor of the Congo, or read with cultivated rapture the thin translations from sonnets of the mystic Lao Tzu, now and again crack the hard nutshell of an argument of Thomas Aquinas, I believe that is Aquinas, or catch suddenly the shining meaning of a bizarre Eskimo fairy tale. It will always be the one, shape-shifting yet marvelously constant story that we find, together with a challengingly persistent suggestion of more remaining to be experienced than will ever be known or told." So you can, if you put aside some of the colonial language, mumbo jumbo, some red-eyed witch doctor, cultivated pleasure of Aquinas, blah blah blah. He wrote it in 1949 after all, and I'm sure he didn't, may not subscribe to such language at a later time. But it really is about myth and monomyth and the unity in many ways of human culture and the ways in which cultures from all over the world have the same myths about here and why these stories then resonate. See, this one I did in pencil. You can tell I was using pencil for my notes here. Why the same stories resonate all over the world. You think of a film like The Matrix, or classic, that's what they would call classic monomyth cycle. The hero, finds a spirit guide in Morpheus, goes to the edge, rejects the call. If you look at the chapter titles here, you can already start to see many of your favorite films in particular, but even novels will start to obey some of these principles. So prologue, the monomyth, myth and dream, tragedy and comedy, the hero and the god, the world navel. Part 1, the adventure of the hero. Departure, the call to adventure. Refusal of the call. So the hero's called into adventure and then he's like, "Nah, I'm not on it, fam." Neo doesn't think he's the one. The supernatural aid. So he's given some kind of supernatural aid to cross over the boundary. The crossing of the first threshold. The belly of the whale. These are the chapter subtitles. Initiation, the road of trials. The meeting with the goddess. So in the Matrix that would be the oracle, obviously. Woman as temptress. Atonement with the father. Apotheosis? I don't even know what that word means. I don't know what that word means. The ultimate boon. Then chapter 3 is the return. Refusal of the return. The magic flight. Rescue from without. The crossing of the return threshold. Master of the two worlds. Freedom to live. And it just really, really goes deeply into human psychology and mythology and explains why, not that you as a writer should lamely copy the pattern set out in that book. That's not really what it's suggested. But how understanding the framework of human psychology and why certain stories resonate and why certain formats, certain allegorical, mythical formats really work for storytelling is useful to you as a writer or just as a person. Really, really influential book. Influential on me, influential on people who, the guy who created Star Wars, George Lucas, cites this as one of his, main inspirations. In fact, there's a quote from a man like George on the back. So this week's great read, really, really important book, particularly for people interested in storytelling on a universal level, is Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Big up.
So read, stuck on the block, read, sitting in the box, read.